Hey guys, this is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, letting you know that this episode is brought to you by San Marcos Mexican Restaurant, located right here in Oklahoma City at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Give them a shout out. They have weekday specials Monday through Friday. They also have $5 margarita Wednesdays and $2 tequila shots. Let Abel know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you and get 10% off of your order. And it's the only dine-in restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
A piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 198. Welcome to another new episode, and welcome to the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and I am joined here by the guys, the crew, the cast, the good fellas. Edward, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, folks? Pretty good, you?
Good. Craig, you doing all right?
Yo, we doing all right today.
Zacchaeus, how are you?
I'm good.
You guys
gotta get this party started.
Oh yeah, it's a big party today. You guys have a good weekend?
I did, yes.
Good Father's Day for you, Johnny.
It was a good Father's Day. Real good Father's Day indeed. Hope everybody out there listening had a really good Father's Day. Speaking of days, I mean we've had a pretty big solid week here at the podcast. I want to say thank you to everybody who downloaded last week's episode, Jurassic World Dominion. Love it, like it, hate it. Thank you for downloading the episode. It was a really diverse conversation, so I highly recommend you guys go back and check out that movie wherever you listen to podcasts at. And we are also making our live debut here on Imosawa Productions YouTube channel live. You guys can check us out every single Monday now from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. here on this YouTube channel. And then the audio will drop on wherever you listen to podcasts at, just like normal, every Monday night, 9 p.m. But if you want to see our smugly faces, you can now check us out every single Monday on this YouTube channel. And you can hit us up on the social media. Social media is facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. You can also check us out on the Instagram. Instagram is one word, Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Twitter is at Cine-Men405. And then you can email us whatever you want at cinemen921@gmail.com. So yeah, guys, anybody have any final thoughts on Dominion before we keep it in the way back window? And we're on our way now to Hustle this week, which is what today's episode is, episode 198, starring the one, the great, the man, the Adam Sandler.
I got nothing to say about Dominion. I said it all last week.
You guys can also hit us up on wherever you listen to podcasts at, like we said earlier, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, and also, let's not forget, thanks to the Prescribed Films Network, you can check us out on Tuesdays on Apple Podcast, or you can just log on, www.prescribedfilms.com, and you guys can check us out there along with some other great podcasts. Attack of the Killer podcast is on there, The Movie Defenders, a bunch of other great podcasts as well. So it's a great network. I highly recommend it if you love listening to random different podcasts. That's the Prescribed Films Network. But But man, until then, Zach, I think you have a little rodeo cinema that you want to talk to us about, right?
Don't I always?
Yeah.
Hey guys, so listen, if you guys have seen Top Gun Maverick, Jurassic World Dominion, and the new Lightyear movie, why don't you go check out our good friends over at Rodeo Cinema. Rodeo Cinema, Oklahoma City's unique non-for-profit art house movie theater. You can see right down there, located at 2221 Exchange Avenue, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They got some good stuff going on, and we got probably a good big announcement that we're going to make probably towards the end of the show about a future episode. Currently, they're showing Crimes of the Future. And this starting this Friday, you can go check out the new Elvis movie starring Austin Butler and Tom Hanks. Great organization, great people that run it, and tell them that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you.
Not only, we're not going to wait till the end. We're gonna go ahead and talk about it right now and announce it now. July 4th, Monday, is our 200th episode. And what better way to celebrate on Independence Day, Monday? We're going to talk Independence Day, but we're going to talk about it live at the historic Rodeo Cinema right there, located at 2221 Exchange Avenue, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You guys are going to be able to come hang out with us, have some pizza, have some drinks, sit in the lobby and watch Independence Day as we, a podcast, get to do a live event, our first ever live event. You guys can just come see us in person right here locally in Oklahoma City. I highly recommend it. It's all free. You guys don't have to pay for a damn thing, honestly. The only thing you have to pay for is just show up and show us your support. Get behind us like you guys always have. We appreciate the downloads, the views, the questions. We got an email bag we're going to get into like we do every single Monday. So thank you for everybody who officially made this happen. We're going to talk about it some more next week on our Spawn episode, as we are talking to Kara, who is a very important person now at Rodeo Cinema, and she's going to join us live right here next Monday on this YouTube channel and during the audio podcast. So, but today we have another special guest. Later on, we're going to talk to Kate Jones and Cassie, who are the director and the producer. They also star in the film of Chicken House, I'm sorry. And
very different film.
Very, very different film. Very good film. It's a film that you can check out locally here. There's links also to the movie all over the YouTube page and all over the Facebook and stuff. So you guys can check them out. If you guys have emails that you want to ask them, send us in some emails, whether we get it to them today or on next week's episode. We'll get it done. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Rodeo Cinema, 200th episode, live and in person. It is the 4th of July. Okay, it is 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., so it is a rough kind of time of the day. But there's nothing really going on. You guys can come hang out with us before you go to a barbecue, before you go see some fireworks pop off, and just support your local Oklahoma movie-based podcast. So do you guys want to add to the big news before we move on to the next segment?
I just want to say I'm excited. We've been doing this kind of just as a mainly a get together to just kind of hang out and talk to each other, and it's kind of we put it out there for other people to hear, but it's really just been among us for the most part to enjoy. And I think with the route that's Rodeo Cinema is wanting to help us and take us, I think is a big jump, and definitely very excited for that.
Yeah.
Can't say much more. I mean, honestly, it's
really
awesome that they're considering that. So yeah, excited.
Really, really exciting news. So that's 2 weeks from today. I don't know how we're going to get it on this YouTube channel because it's going to be a live event, but we will definitely try to get it on this YouTube channel for sure. But Craig, before we talk about some CDR, let's get into some movie news. I'm going to bring it up. If this is the first time watching us because of this platform, joining us on Emosawa Productions, then by all means, you're along the ride for a good show. We have a bunch of fun different segments, a brand new top 5 list every single Monday, and then we break down the movie. Today we have a special guest, so we have different segments. And if you guys want to partake in any of the episodes, by all means, do what you can and send us in some emails. So a little bit of movie news. I'll bring some of this stuff up. If you guys want to add to it, you can. Last week I broke the news that Lady Gaga is officially joining the Joker 2 cast, but now some reports are saying that this could be a musical.
Yep, I heard that too.
Give or take, if anybody wants to jump in, I'm excited for Joker 2. I was even more excited when I saw Lady Gaga as his version of Harley Quinn, but I'm not so sure about the musical part. Does anybody else want to jump in?
I mean, if they're even considering it to be a musical, there has to be some script that they have in mind that they think is going to be visually effective.
Well, especially when you get Lady Gaga, who's magnificent with music. I mean, she could really lend her voice and her talent to do that. So,
most definitely. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of more the fact of like finding what is the best for a Harley Quinn character, introducing another, as well as Joaquin Phoenix taking him from what he did onto a new stage, as well as singing stage. I mean, we'll see if they can get it. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it turns out. I know this is probably a whole separate Joker from anything else, but I think it'll still be pretty fun. We'll talk about it. I don't know if all three of you guys want to go see it. I didn't go see it this weekend, but are you surprised that Lightyear did not take down or dethrone Jurassic World Dominion? It kind of flopped at the box office, coming in at number 2. Number 2, I think it made it made around $80 million opening weekend. Still a pretty good success, but Disney Pixar, Buzz Lightyear, I know they were shooting for like 250. Number 2, behind a very bad Jurassic World movie. I'm kind of shocked, honestly.
I think it's just it is being punished by the time that we're in. I don't think it has anything to do with people not wanting to go see an extension of Toy Story. I think it's just that gas prices are $6, $7, $8, depending on where you live. So people are struggling because they're having to pay for gas.
But just a week before, though, Jurassic World completely demolished the box office, though.
But that is a trilogy that's ending. And, I mean, you look at Jurassic World initially, the first one, and it's one of the top 10 highest grossing films of all time. So people are wanting to finish that trilogy because they had such high expectations for it.
Yeah.
Whereas Lightyear, people look at it probably the same way as Solo, and they're just like, I don't want to go see a cash grab on a movie based on a character that I know everything I need to know. But I personally, I loved Lightyear. I thought it was a great movie. I took the family to go see it.
I think a lot of people are still kind of like, because Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, y'all remember that?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it's kind of more the fact of what's different than that compared to this. You know what I mean? Because that's supposed to be Buzz Lightyear, the Buzz Lightyear, but.
And I think they did a disservice to the movie by not initially saying that this film is what they kind of pictured Andy seeing to be excited about the Buzz Lightyear toy that he gets. People, they don't know that this is what they're trying to say is what the toy is based off of. And I think they might be thrown off by the fact that it's Chris Evans and not Tim Allen.
Yeah, I could see that.
I wanted to talk about this because it's leading into our bonus episodes, but Minority Report just had its 20th anniversary this month, and looking at that movie, you're like, wow, 20 years for Minority Report. But Zach, let everybody know the month of July is nothing but 20th anniversaries for us here on the bonus episodes, which will be exclusively on this YouTube channel on Thursday nights.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff coming out. There's a lot of stuff we want to talk about. We can't get to everything. So me and Johnny and Craig and Ed, you're more than welcome to join in. We each picked 2 films. I picked We Were Soldiers and Rain of Fire, and Johnny picked John Q and Mr. Deeds. And it's just all those films are celebrating 20 years this year. So,
and we're kicking off June 30th as Attack of the Clones turns 20.
Yeah.
So, but we're also going to get into a little bit of Obi-Wan talk a little bit later on. The last thing I wanted to bring up, because I think he did a kick-ass job with Aladdin, Guy Ritchie is going to direct the live action movie of Hercules. So Hercules, after The Little Mermaid, Hercules is going to be the live action of Disney's next movies. Are you guys done with the live action, or?
I personally don't care for Little Mermaid or Hercules, so it's not my forte.
I mean, I grew up with Hercules. That's probably one of my favorite Disney films. But I mean,
at what point?
Why?
At what point do they start doing away with all of these rehashes? I mean, it's like the 2020s are. That's all it is. Bringing back Tobey Maguire for Far From Home or No Way Home. Bringing back Lightyear. Bringing back Jurassic World, and just all these characters back from the early 2000s.
And another piece of good news, probably box office projections have probably estimated that Top Gun Maverick will reach $1 billion by July 4th weekend. So This will be our first $1 billion movie of the year.
Nice.
So
sounds good. All right. Next, we're going to get ready to talk about some good old CDR electronics. Craig, take it away.
I was not ready for this, so you just thrusted it upon me. CDR Electronics serves the OKC Metro with the best value for your electronics. They pay the most. Located at 1604 West I-240 Service Road in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. They have one of the largest selections of Blu-rays, DVDs. They have TVs, accessories for your video games. They have consoles. They have video games for Xbox, PS5, Nintendo Switch, iPhone accessories, AirPods, anything you need. Go in, check them out. Tell them the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you. Again, they pay for the most for your electronics.
All right, guys. Let's get into some recent watches. Ed, have you checked anything out this week? Before we start recent watches, is everybody up to date with Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yes.
Let's start on that.
Man, honestly, I've got to say, loved the revelation of or reveal, I should say, more than anything, of the youngling basically all grown up. That was a pretty cool little thing, as well as bringing, kind of the justification of why they brought back Christian Haydenson instead of just a random dude to play Darth Vader. Because literally, you get to see him in Order 66 form again, for that matter. You get to also see him dueling Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi, basically Attack of the Clones era. He's got the Padawan braid and all that. Obi-Wan still has his longer hair and all that good stuff. So I thought that was very, very well done. Very nice. And the teaching throughout the entire episode from start to finish, for that matter, of you're too arrogant, you're too prideful, and you're too aggressive. You don't want to slow down and watch. Basically, you want to just go.
What else did you check out, Ed? Oh, go ahead, Frank. Sorry.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about Obi-Wan, I think this is one of the more well done episodes. I think it pays. Not just pays, it greatly increases the watchability and the value of this episode due to how they are portraying Hayden Christensen's character of Obi-Wan, or of Anakin, back in the prequels. I mean, this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see these interactions leading towards, we see how he gets turned to the dark side, but we didn't get to see all of these small trinkets that they're showing in these episodes, and we really got to see him be the bad Anakin in Order 66 through Reva's eyes, and I think they did all of this perfectly.
Honestly, I heard a quote just yesterday that Anakin didn't get seduced by the dark side. The Jedi turned him away from the light, and that was just kind of, I thought that was almost perfect for it, to be honest.
I mean,
you've got to think, with being on the council, not a master for that matter, never really trusting him, never really.
But he was young. I mean, there's reasons they didn't give him certain things, and I think he just took it a certain way because of the power that was inside of him for him being the quote unquote chosen one.
And I mean, that's another thing right there. Why did they even let him know about the prophecy? So we can save that for Attack of the Clones, I guess.
That's another reason Yoda was destroyed. Star Wars Yoda.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, not even that, but like I just felt like this episode was much more polished than any of the other episodes before. It was the story was finally coming together. It didn't feel like, oh, let's introduce this character and that character, and then guess what? We're having a spinoff show at the end with Camille Nanjiani in it. It didn't feel like that at all.
I feel like, we were all kind of worried about how or what Reva's character was going to be, and I think her being a youngling, and you would assume like if she was a youngling, she wouldn't be that close to Anakin because of what he did to the kids. But her doing it so that she could, avenge her family is what she called them. I think that was a great storyline. That's a great character arc. That's what we want. And I think they hit it just a little too well. And it kind of like made the first 3 episodes feel like they were trying to introduce somebody that was going to be a spinoff episode like we talked about. But now seeing everything, I think it's going to be good.
And now there's only one episode left, right?
Yeah, tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yep.
Has any of y'all gone and watched the first episode again?
No,
I have not.
Okay, so there's things you're going to catch if you do it, but at the same time, because I didn't even think about it at first, because it's just kind of a at the time throwaway character that you don't. It's like why because you feel like, and spoiler alert for this matter, that Anakin done away with all of the younglings. You feel he just slashed them all like whatever. But in the very beginning, with the Jedi that had the green saber protecting the kids from the stormtroopers or the clone troopers coming in, she was with that group. Okay. So I was just like, okay, and I mean, tiny thing, but still, it was pretty cool.
And yeah, go ahead, Zach.
To be honest, I haven't watched it. I mean, I know you guys spoil. I don't care, honestly. Like I know
you don't care.
It's a good episode, Zach.
I've heard 5 is really good, and like you said, Craig, the finale's on Wednesday, so I'll watch them before next week. But I'm not disappointed by the show. I feel like how you are, Craig, in the beginning. You're just like, you've hyped this up for so long, and like this is the story you want to tell. Really, like that's the best we could do.
I feel like they did spend too much time trying to hide Reva's character being a youngling that survived and is plotting revenge. I feel like they did kind of focus on that a little too much. But I mean, if 4, 5, and 6 kind of end the way that they are doing, if 6 ends the way that 5 kind of leads off into, and they do mainly Anakin Obi-Wan kind of finale, it'll be justified. But if they don't give us that finale that we feel like we deserve, I feel like this whole series is going to be a waste.
Yeah. And like you said, Johnny, I mean, they're really talking. Have they confirmed a season 2, or are they talking about it?
They all really want to do it.
Yeah, it's been greenlit.
And Samuel L. Jackson has said that he wants to do Nick Fury and Mace Windu because he's done chasing Oscars. He said, I want to do roles that are fun, and those are the roles he can
chasing Oscars. This bro hadn't chased no
Oscars
in 10 years. Stop. He's been chasing them paychecks.
Hey, get the bag though.
Chasing Oscars.
What's in your wallet?
One of the last movies he did that made an Oscar contention was what? Black Snake Moan.
Black Snake Moan. That's
20 years ago. Anyway, let's finish up recent watches. Ed, do you have anything else you want to talk about that you checked out this week?
Basically, I've been rewatching the entire saga of Skywalker, for that matter, the entire Star Wars saga. Hustle, of course. So yeah, basically just kind of going over all that good stuff.
It was kind of a slow week for me. I got up to date on Obi-Wan. I did not check out the new episode yet of Ms. Marvel. I did check out the ABCs of Death for our recent episode of Friday the 14th podcast, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. I kind of went on Adam Sandler binged. I watched Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and 50 First Dates back to back. I checked out The Quick and the Dead, a young Leonardo DiCaprio film from 1995. It was okay. Sam Raimi Western. And then I checked out Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Space Jam, because my daughter for some reason has a squishy toy of LeBron James, and she is obsessed now with LeBron James.
But you wanted to show her the OG.
Plus, I don't have the sequel yet, but I think it's coming. She really wants to watch it, and she really wants me to buy it. So, and then I checked out Hustle twice this past week on Netflix. So
Twice.
Wow.
Twice in 1 week, guys. Twice in 1 week. But yeah, that's if I recommend anything, just because it's so easy to get to. Hustle is on Netflix. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think the original Space Jam, if you don't own the Blu-rays, on HBO Max. So go HBO Max it up. And then, you know what? If you can find yourself on some Adam Sandler movies, just go watch them. Because if you're down in the dumps, he will turn that ass around. I promise you that. Zach, what about you? You recommend anything? You check anything out?
Yeah, like last week, I'm just trying to get caught up on stuff that I missed. Morbius.
Is it Morbin time?
Oh God, no.
Is it terrible?
Well, let's just say it's on the level of Jurassic World Dominion.
No way.
Okay.
Did you buy the $30 Blu-ray?
I did, but I
There you go. Yep.
I have to borrow it then.
The 355, that action movie with Jessica Chastain that came out earlier this year.
Don't tell me you enjoyed that more than Morbius.
At least it had Jessica Chastain in it. That's all I gotta say.
True. That is true.
That's true.
Ambulance, the new Michael Bay movie that's on Peacock. It's pretty good. One of the better Michael Bay. What?
It's streaming on the Peacock.
It is. It is one of the better Michael Bay movies he's done in a while.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I feel like that movie was like, when I saw the trailer, I was like,
it's way too long. That's part of the problem, but it's enjoyable. Jake Gyllenhaal does give a good performance in it.
You're driving in an ambulance. How long can a movie be?
Oh, well, you'd be surprised.
I mean, Speed.
Hey, you watch your mouth about Speed. You hear me?
I went and saw Lightyear like you did, Craig. I liked it. I thought it was a cool spinoff of what they were trying to do, and I liked your comparison of it's basically Top Gun Maverick for kids. Basically what it is. Rewatched Independence Day. We're going to be talking about that here in a couple weeks. But the two main things I want to highly recommend is there's a new Apple TV movie called Cha Cha Real Smooth with Dakota Johnson in it. Very, very good film. And then The Old Man on Hulu with Jeff Bridges.
I want to watch that.
Freaking phenomenal. 2 episodes in, and can't wait for the next one.
Cool. So,
nice. Well, Craig, what about you? You want to finish this off?
Watch Lightyear. Watch Jackass 4 with the wife over there.
I thought you were going to say with the wife and kid.
No. Kid with the stay the night at the in-laws, but yeah, watch Jackass, Lightyear. I mean, you guys know how much I love Toy Story, and I think Lightyear delivers on every part of that film. I think it's a tragedy that it only made $50 billion this weekend. $50. That is me.
Zach going to see it.
I think it's a tragedy. I think it is a much better film than people are expecting. I think Chris Evans nails Buzz Lightyear. I don't think there was any other voice besides Tim Allen that can do Buzz Lightyear at the moment, and I think Chris Evans nailed it. And sorry, my daughter walked in. Watched Hustle. Watched Obi-Wan. I've watched a ton of College World Series baseball. Boomer. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
Nice. Can't complain. If anybody else wants to check out some recent watches and email us your recommendations, send us in the old request. Send us in the email. CINEMEN921@gmail.com. Or you can leave us some Facebook messages or some Instagram messages. Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, The Cine-Men Movie Podcast. or the Twitter is at Cine-Men405. But Zacchaeus, I believe you have some facts about Hustle that we may not have known.
Yeah. So, number one, Adam Sandler is seen wearing a Federal Donut T-shirt, which is a real Philadelphia restaurant famous for not just their donuts but also their fried chicken. Federal Donut also has a location in the Wells Fargo Center. This has a similar premise to the fictional film Sarah Nora Davy, featured in Sanders' Funny People, which is like a spinoff if you've seen the movie. The original description of the plot said that Adam Sandler's main character finds a, quote, phenomenal street player while in China, but due to pressure from Netflix not doing business with China, which I didn't even know that was a thing, the location was changed to Spain. And a character refers to Sandler's character as Stan the Man during the first half of the film. Stan the Man was a popular song that was performed by Sandler in his 2004 album. Shh, don't tell.
Is that the same album where he does Turkey for You?
No, that was like 2 albums before. Stan the Man, though, he played it on his social media this past weekend for his pops for Father's Day. So I highly recommend the song. It's a really good song. Go check it out. And those are some facts by Satch. But guys, today we're going to also get ready to talk about a top 5. I think it's going to be a fun top 5 list that we're going to get into after we talk to our special guest. So I think it's going to be a fun episode, but we're going to get ready to talk about some ice cold beverage soda. This episode is also brought to you by OKC Soda Company. It's the craft soda company of Oklahoma with super unique flavors like strawberry shortcake and blueberry acai, made with pure cane sugar and all natural flavors. Visit them online at okcsodacompany.com. You can also check out their 6-packs in Homeland stores here locally, Pruitt Foods, Crests, and you know what? You can just go and order some online as well. And you might even be able to try some of this at our 200th episode live at Historic Rodeo Cinema. We will have some OKC soda there for you to try as well. Tasty beverage, guys. Locally brewed, locally made soda. It's stuff. It's good.
Ice cold root beer. Chef's kiss.
Cold.
Chef's kiss.
So yeah, but other than that, guys, we're gonna get ready and talk about our 200th episode for a little bit before our special guests come on. And let's reintroduce ourselves, if you will, to everybody on this podcast. We have just a few more minutes before everybody jumps on for our special guest. So, like I said, for everybody who is listening, I want to say thank you, and I want to push it over to Edward. And let's just reintroduce everybody to us and on this channel, because if you're checking us out for the first time due to this YouTube channel live, let's kind of just introduce ourselves for a little bit to everybody. And this is going to be my plug for Friday the 14th podcast. You guys can listen to me every single Wednesday on Friday the 14th, especially if you're always on this channel. You see the bad guy Nick H and Mr. Fuentes every other Wednesday. This past Wednesday, you saw us talk about the ABCs of Death, which was a unique review and a fun conversation. You're kind of like, how would you guys review 26 short films in one episode? Well, we did it. And go back and listen to it. It was a fun episode. I highly recommend the movie. But yeah, you guys have seen me on this channel, Imosawal Productions, every other Wednesday, or every Wednesday now, actually. This Wednesday, me and Nick are going to talk about St. Maud, an A24 movie. So I love talking about A24, and that's going to be this Wednesday. But Edward, we started this podcast in 2018, and we went from, episode number 1 being all about Psycho to now this week we are on episode 198 talking about a Netflix original film. We're getting ready to do a 200th episode live at Rodeo Cinema, and we're getting ready to have some great local guests, actors, directors come on to this episode in just a few minutes. Let everybody know what this means for you.
Man, I didn't know what this was going to turn into. I really didn't. I just wanted a fun time with you, for that matter, as well as just talking about movies, and then kind of thought if we get like 20 people to listen, that's cool. It's eclipsed that so many levels differently now. It's incredible. As far as what that means, it's just I mean, that's like the Academy Awards for us, basically, man. Because literally, like, if that's the biggest thing we ever do, I'm cool with that. That is awesome with me. I've had a lot of fun with all three of you guys, for that matter. Had a lot of good talks. Whether we've griped at each other, whether we've agreed on everything, doesn't matter. It's the funnest thing ever to come in, just hang out with you three. So that's what it means for me, is just camaraderie, as well as just a fun subject to talk about.
Are you still at 8 with Jurassic World?
Hey, you know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is, my friend.
Let's just say he liked it better than No Country for Old Men. Let's just say
hey,
that.
No Country for Old Men can die on its hill. It's all right. That's fine.
It's fine.
To use one of Zach's words. But yeah, this podcast means a lot, and I didn't really figure, 3 years later, we'd be doing something like this. So yeah, it's awesome.
Zach, what about you?
Yeah, man, the fact that we've done that, we're almost 200 episodes in. You had texted me, I don't know, about a month ago, Johnny, saying when I first started the show, you guys were like 16 episodes in, and then now we're almost up to 200, and it's insane. And to give a little backstory, I worked with Ed at the Warren for about 1 or 2 years, and went and saw a movie and ran into one of our old coworkers, and they said, he does a movie podcast. I was like, what? I was like, he's talking about, So they gave me the name of the podcast. I looked him up on Facebook, and I just called the number. Yeah, I stalked us. I was in a white van for 2 weeks and make sure to plan out my moves. No, I just called the number.
It all makes sense now.
I called the number on the Facebook page, and Johnny picked up and went from there. Been part of the show since then.
Correct.
So literally,
I kidnapped Ed. First off, let's just be honest.
So I remember he called me after y'all had talked. He called me and he was like, "Hey, do you know this dude?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "We worked at the Warren for a while together. Why? What's up?" And he's like, what do you think about him? Should we invite him in? Like, what do you think?" I was like, "Yeah, he's a safe dude." I was like, "Yeah, I was like, I don't know what his taste is in movies, for that matter, but yeah." I was like, he's a good guy, so why not? And yeah,
Craig, we saved one of the OGs for last. I've known you since literally day one-ish, almost the exact same time I've known Ed, maybe a little bit less, kind of. Man, it's been a fun ride, but now, with everything going on, how much are you excited for the future?
Well, just starting off, when you told me you were going to start a podcast, I was there watching Psycho with you before you did the podcast, and I had zero want to be a part of the podcast. I'll tell you right now. Because I was just like, it's a podcast. It's weird. I don't feel like I would be good at it. And then I came on for like a Marvel movie or something. Yep. And
probably, yeah.
I think it was Endgame. I think your first, maybe Infinity War, maybe, but I think Endgame was like pretty much the first one you started.
It might have been a little before that, because I remember the road leading up to it. But I started on some Disney movie, and I was just like, you know what, it's pretty fun, and just kind of kept coming every now and then, and I was like, all right, you know what, I'm full time, let's do this, and it's been fun. I think we've got a really good bond between the four of us. We all genuinely care for one another. We genuinely want the best for one another, and I think the conversations between us are all genuine. And that's something that is hard to come by. You can talk to somebody and be like, okay, it's good talking to you, but if I see you, I see you. But it's like coming there every Monday and talking to you guys. It's fun. It's enjoyable. So, but looking forward to the future. it's just wherever we go. I mean, we've been doing what we've been doing for 3 years. Some of us the whole time, some of us a little less than that. So, but
and then next week, episode 199. Not only we're going to talk about Spawn, but we're going to talk to Kara, who is a very important person over at Rodeo Cinema, and then she's going to talk to us about the 200th episode live. She's going to talk to us about our 4-year anniversary show, which is going to be also at Rodeo Cinema, and we're going to talk about the 100th anniversary of Nosferatu for our 4-year anniversary, which
officially
is
the oldest movie we've done.
Yeah, which is going to be coming up soon. But now, guys, it's the moment everybody's been waiting for. We are now joined by Kate.
Hi.
Kate Jones, how are you?
Hey.
Good. How are y'all?
Doing real good. How's the Monday been treating you? You got the Monday blues?
Oh no, I'm doing pretty good. I've been writing today and it's happening, so that's good. That's a good day.
Real good day. Well, Kate, I want to introduce you, everybody. We have Edward.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
Zach.
Hi.
Hello.
And Craig.
Hello.
Hi.
And then I'm the one who's been reaching out to you. I'm Juan. I'm thankful and appreciative of you coming out on this podcast to talk to us about just the movie business in general, your story kind of, and your film, Chicken House, which is out now for people to stream, correct?
Yeah. It's out right now through Dead Center. I actually think that ended today, and then in 2 days on the 23rd, it'll be out through Chattanooga Film Festival.
Okay.
So you can watch it through Chat Film. Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago when we all went to Dead Center to watch some great films, it was our first experience with Dead Center. And a few weeks ago we had Crystal on the episode, and she was like, "You guys are gonna probably be a little overwhelmed. It's really busy. It's always super packed." And this is kind of the first year, she said, that this is the first full year since COVID hit, so it was like in full effect. But it was a little overwhelming. Talk to us a little bit about Dead Center for you. Like, how many have you attended, and what was this year like for you compared to some of the others?
I've gone a few years, so like as an actor and stuff. So probably like 4 years. I got a film in a couple years ago, my first feature, She's the Eldest, but that was during the pandemic. So it was mostly online. Like they had a couple of outdoor screenings, but so this was kind of like my first time having a live screening outside of like short films. So it's a more super nerve-wracking experience having your feature in front of an audience and it be your second feature. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So we'll kind of start the interviews in, and if there's anything that you want to add to it, by all means, go ahead and jump in. What some of the films or directors were some of the biggest influences on you growing up?
So I kind of grew up on Turner Classic Movies. So I watched a lot of old black and white films for a really long time. But, when I really was like, oh my God, movies, aside from just like Norman Jewison stuff, was I saw Goodfellas. When I started, I worked at like 3 different video stores in high school and college. So I watched like Goodfellas and Pulp Fiction, and both of those just like completely blew my mind. So the obvious choices, Scorsese and Tarantino, but I also really love David Lynch, Bergman, P.T. Anderson, just a lot of greats. Yeah, and I check out a lot.
Same here. It's funny how when you get your foot into whether like working at a movie theater or a video store, how just when you put movies up or when you're doing your job, just restocking the shelves, you're looking at stuff as you're putting stuff away, and you're like, I need to see this, I need to see that, and then you have so many different recommendations from other people, and it's like it just keeps bringing you in and sucking you in, and you're like, yes, this is this is, and that's kind of the same way with me, how movies just kind of just took over.
I think I have a catalog of DVD covers in my head where like somebody will mention something and I'll be like, I know what that cover looks like. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that. Or I'll be like, yeah, I definitely watched that in my, you take home 10 movies a night or whatever, because you get them for cheap. So it was definitely a foray into something. Once I really got in there, I was like, oh my God, now I have to watch everything. And I was smoking a lot of pot. So I was
It does definitely make everything more interesting when you watch it.
yeah.
We're also being joined by Cassie, right? I want to make sure I pronounce that right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. It's always a good day for a Monday. Second best day of the week. So I asked, just got done asking Kate if you want to, answer, talk about some of your stuff as well. Do you have a film or a director that was kind of like a big influence on you getting into the movie business?
I, no, but it's always interesting. But I like,
You're cutting out, Cassie.
Yeah, you're kind of
can you hear me now?
perfect.
Yes,
Thank
yeah.
you.
I would say probably Kevin Smith Clerks, just because my dad made me watch a bunch of Kevin Smith at a very young age. Probably not very good, but that was the number one director for me that made me want to get into the movie business.
Okay.
Clerks is a good choice.
Oh yeah, classic.
But I want to say thank you for joining us today, Cassie. I'm really appreciative, and I think it's always good for us whenever somebody local and fun gets to come on and talk movies about us. We were just digging in and talking about some movies. So, and you both can answer this one at a time if you want. Or how long did it take you from start to finish, from the start of production to the end of Chicken House? Like, was it a lengthy process, or were you happy with the amount of production days you guys had?
I'll let Cassie answer that.
Well, start to finish, Kate and I actually first met in October, right? October of 2021. And then we started working from then on. We crowdfunded, and then we started shooting in June. We're actually kind of shooting right now, a year ago. And we only had 9 days to shoot. It was a fucking nightmare. It was
9 days.
Yeah, I mean, when you really think about it, like, it's just like 9 days just isn't enough time.
Yeah.
It's just not. She didn't get, nearly as much as she wanted. I mean, it ended up working out, but next time we're gonna get more days. But then after that, we just finished editing the movie 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 weeks ago. So
Wow.
yeah, it took a minute.
So how long did it take the script to come together? So was that a part of the 9-day process?
No. I wrote the script before the pandemic, right before the pandemic in 2019. And I wrote it in 3 days, but that was I reworked it basically while we were up through us shooting it, just changing things and adding stuff. But for the most part, it was there in 3 days in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, that's. I was sitting here thinking you guys had maybe a few months or something. I'm like, no, 9 days.
That's rough.
That's interesting. But by all means, with the finished product, you wouldn't even really be able to tell. I gotta say, I was a little late getting into the movie, but from what I saw from start to finish, it was. I have to applaud. 9 days. It was a really, really fantastic film for 9 days. And honestly, the movies that I saw that day and the day before were pretty stellar. Do you guys? This wasn't a part of the initial questions, but I do want to know. I'm a huge physical media guy. Something like this locally or independent, is there plans to maybe put it on a disc, or is it just going to be one of those things that's streaming?
I mean, I would love it to be on disc, but we're kind of at the mercy of our distributors, and we'll probably be dealing with some pretty small distributors as far as, you know, what I can tell from what we did with She's the Eldest, and, you know, since our budget is, you know, what it is. But yeah, I don't see them putting it on DVD. If anybody puts it on DVD, it'll be me doing it myself.
Johnny's hoping for a Criterion release. Let's be honest.
I'm just huge on physical media, and like I think it's the coolest thing to get like local people together and talking to Kara next week, and then, you know, Crystal from a few weeks ago. I'm just huge on like, hey, you know, this stuff is good. You know, this stuff is. I literally had A24 vibes watching your movie, and I'm just like, I need this in my collection. Like, I need to put this and show everybody that I can show.
Well, hey, I'll try to send one to you if I get one printed out. I feel you though. I've had a friend recently offer to sell me their DVD collection. I'm gonna buy it, but I was like, I don't think that's a smart idea. You got a pretty massive collection, and I just don't trust that streaming isn't gonna get like to where you can't find what you want. Like right now, there's stuff. I think I wanted to watch Out of the Blue, the Dennis Hopper movie from way back in the day, and you couldn't find it anywhere. I had to find it on like a very strange, but it was still like expensive. And I think Fat City I couldn't find anywhere streaming, and it was like a $90 Blu-ray or something. I just feel like they're gonna find a way to make the subscription like so expensive or so inclusive. You know, like Netflix doing their original content. Maybe they'll stop showing other content and only show their original stuff. You know, I just don't. I want to be able to watch what I want to watch. What I want to watch.
Well, and you buy a DVD for $10, $15. It's a lot better than having. You know, it seems like they're going to have 10 or 11 streaming services pretty soon. Everybody's going to have their own. You know, you have Paramount Plus and HBO Max.
Yeah, DVD extras. I mean, I have records though, so I'm probably not the most hip.
Records are cool.
Yeah. Hey, I spent $50 on The Great Debaters with Denzel Washington just because I couldn't find it anywhere else, and I'm like, I need it. I have to have it.
This man will go on a hunt all over Oklahoma City to look for something. It is crazy.
I've been there.
That was me with Dogma.
Oh, Dogma.
Yeah, you can't find that. Yeah.
I paid like $45 for it or something ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's more than that now because I think I had another friend that was looking for it, and it was, outrageous.
Wow.
I need to find mine then.
Yeah.
Kate, I got a question. When you're as a filmmaker and as an actress, and I think you talked a little bit about this when you guys got up on stage after the film. Is it difficult to separate the job from a director and actress? Like, say you're doing a scene and say, well, I want the camera to be on that side of the room, or maybe the motivations of the character change in your head. Does that affect the filming process, or are you able to like balance it out pretty good?
I mean, it makes it difficult, like, and it isn't. Like, some of it makes it actually very easy because you can direct the other actors through your acting. And so like you don't have to like try to find your way back into the room and then they drop their character, somebody from the outside is talking to them. Instead you're talking like directly to them, and so they can just still be there with you. But at the same time, like you're thinking about the boom or the light or whatever. And so I don't know. I think like at a certain point it got easier for me because there was just like no alternative. You just have to get through it.
With it. Yeah.
I don't know, Cassie, you want to add anything to that?
I don't know. Honestly, she just blacked out. It was weird. I mean, she was just like switch gears. Like, I mean, she played a very crazy character, obviously. So, she would kind of switch just drastically, and I was just like, oh my god, she could switch really, really easily. It was very interesting to watch. I'd be like, her head's gonna explode, seriously. But but it was still funny for me to watch.
That's the alternate ending that didn't get filmed.
So for some of the casting choices or the casting process, I guess, did it kind of come easy, or how did you go through that process? Whether it was like, you know what, this person gotta have them, doesn't matter, or like this person's audition was better, you know, like what was the process of that for y'all? For either of y'all, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'll let Cassie go first.
I mean, we just did Zoom, you know, so it was kind of hard to really get, you know, mannerisms and things. But there were a lot of like standouts for, like, because me, Mark, and her, we were kind of like leading the auditions. But I mean, I remember like the first round, it was kind of like, oh, well, what are we gonna do? And then like the second round, it started to really come together from what I remember. And I like basically threw myself at Kate and was like, let me read for April. You know, I've got red hair, so makes sense, right? So it was I mean, I feel like it came together. I mean, by the time that we did like the second round of auditions, we had our people.
Okay.
It made it easy that like I am a local actor, so I knew a bunch of people, but also I had written all the characters based on real life people, but none of them were available to play their characters. So I basically, I mean, it was just pretty easy knowing all the local actors that I could be like, all right, these three people have the same essence in it, or like, you know, close. And then, just reading those people and working it out. It was actually a pretty easy process, just finding, because there were people that just were it, and it was obvious to everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Plain and simple.
So
Go ahead.
I was going to say, just kind of read off the question I had wrote, Johnny. So we know that Chicken House is based off an experience you had. What made you want to put that on film?
So I lived in a house full of actresses in Atlanta, and I was just in a lull. Like I was going to art school, and I had like a spring break for 2 weeks or something like that, and I was just going insane because I had been so prolific on doing all these art projects and like all these auditions and stuff. And then I had this 2 weeks of deadness, and I was like, you know what? I've got all these actors here, and I'm about to go direct this first movie here in a month or so. Why don't I just make one for practice with my roommates? And so then I just wrote that script in 3 days, and it's just based off of all of them. And I mean, it was all there. You know, we had all this story and all these like very strong personalities. So it came very easy to write. And then we shot like a good, 75% of it on just like me with my little handy cam with no sound or anything. Like I just, shot them. But then people like started moving away, and someone booked Better Call Saul, and so she had to go out for a long time. And then I had to go to Oklahoma to shoot my first feature or whatever. Shot that, and then flew back to edit it real quick, and then the pandemic hit, and it was like, well, I'm not going to finish that movie, like obviously. And then I moved back to Oklahoma, and then after I finished that first feature, She's the Eldest, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? Like I'm done with that. And then I like looked at the scripts that I had, and I had this one that was like going to be really expensive. And I was like, you know what? Why don't I just finish that Chicken House? I'll just I'll crowdfund it and shoot it with like a real camera, like a nice camera and sound and everything. But everybody was busy, so I just redid it brand new.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was it quite different than the one you did shoot before? The one we got to see?
I mean, yeah, it was, but not in. It was different but similar. I mean, it's just the difference between a handy cam, which I got to hold, so that was honestly pretty fun. But I mean, I like it as it is. I think everything worked out how I was supposed to. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So technically wise, it was just kind of shot with a different camera from the first time around.
It was just me running around and nobody having their hair and makeup or anything. It was for fun, definitely for fun. And it looks like it's for fun.
I'll ask this one to Cassie if you want to go first. Where do you see yourself like in the film industry in the next 5 years? Like, if you could see yourself in the next 5 years, would you still want to be in the industry, or is there like a goal oriented that you see that you want to try to accomplish in the next 5 years? Or
man, I try not to do that, but in case, say,
oh, we're kind of losing you.
Cutting out again.
how about now? Okay. My pinky was covering it. So probably in 5 years, I would like to still be working with Kate, if she lets me, and probably working with Mickey Reese, hopefully. But I mean, honestly, I just want to keep my same team. That's like one of the main things for me in the next 5 years. I'm pretty loyal to the people that I'm with right now, and I want to keep it that way. I just want to keep producing good movies and get those movies out there. And I mean, I've worked on bigger projects before, and it's not as fulfilling. It's you can see it, you can be on set, and you're like, oh, holy shit, this is great. Like, wow, it's just huge, and I like the small family-oriented things. If it ever was to get bigger, that's fine, but at least I would have my family there, and that's basically all that I would want in 5 years.
Nice. Kate, what about you? Do you have like a 5-year plan in the movie industry, or what? Do you have like a goal you might want to accomplish?
I'm kind of already doing it. Like, I'm sort of making one movie a year, every year and a half, and then acting in 3. And that's kind of what I want to be doing, just on a bigger level, like a more professional, nicer level where people are getting paid more and whatnot.
Right.
Not necessarily me, but at least my crew and stuff. But I'm pretty much doing it just on a bigger level. Yeah.
You guys kind of already answered how the pandemic kind of affected you with starting one project and stopping the next. If you guys want to answer this maybe together, since you both are in the same business, someone generally just wanting to get into the film industry, what kind of advice would you give them, whether they're at an early age or a later age? You guys have so much knowledge. How would you pass that along to somebody else?
I'll let Cassie go first.
Oh my God. Well, I've only been doing this for 2.5, 3 years. And my only advice is to literally just be resourceful. Try to be there's so many resources now. Like, when I did it, I literally had to slide into people's DMs. You know what I mean? Like, that's embarrassing sometimes. And then, it worked out for me, but there are other people that we have Prairie Surf now. There's internships. You've got OCCC, which has been there for a while, but people are starting to know more about it. Because I'm from Stillwater, so I didn't really know much about it. It's just, if you want to do it, it's not going to find you. You got to find it. And also, when you get on it, please don't be dumb. Just work really, really hard. If you have to clean a toilet, clean a toilet. You know what I mean? Being a PA is really hard, but if you show that you can work really hard and do the grunt stuff, I swear you could probably do anything. But just be resourceful. Go out and try and find those resources, especially in Oklahoma. But I don't know. Also, talk to people on set. Don't be shy. Just ask them how they got started, and that's what I did. So.
Okay.
Sounds like hard work pays off. Kate,
Yes.
you want to add to that?
Yeah. I say don't do it. It's really hard. But I mean, if you guys want to make a movie, y'all all have each other. I mean, you could make a movie where with just two guys, and then one of you hold the camera and one of you hold the boom. There's nothing stopping you. You can shoot a movie on a cell phone, and you can find anything on the internet. You can find out how to format a script on the internet. You can read scripts, like Hateful Eight is on the internet. You can just go read the Hateful Eight, see how it's formatted, and just go do that on Celtics. Celtics is free for like the first 3 scripts or whatever. Or there's even screenplay on like Word. There's like a screenplay template on Word, and just go shoot a movie. You don't know until you try if you're gonna be good at it or if you're gonna suck. So you might as well do it without money first. That way you don't have to fail hard and piss anybody off by wasting their money. And I know you want to make like the best movie there is and just go ahead and fall into place immediately, but it's probably not going to happen. I mean, Peter Jackson made a bunch of home movies.
Yeah.
I'm sure T. Anderson made a bunch of home movies. Tarantino made a bunch of home movies. You can make your home movie first. There's nothing stopping you. Everything is on the internet. How to make a poster is on the internet. Just go look at a poster, format it, look like your favorite poster. Like everything is out there.
Yes.
Well, the crazy thing is like in the last 5 years here in Oklahoma, the film business has just skyrocketed. I mean, Matt Damon, DiCaprio, Scorsese, Stallone's shooting his show, Tulsa King, right now. It's amazing just how much it's just exploded in the last 5 years. And I'm sure Cassie and Kate, getting your product out there, I'm sure it's probably has helped it tremendously.
I mean, it's really like the people that are working on the tax incentive, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is like people getting inspired by other people making their stuff for cheap, and it's just like, oh, I can do that. I can make a movie where it all takes place in a house, and you don't have to worry about moving locations or any of that jazz. It's so easy to make one that you should just go ahead and do it now, because otherwise somebody's going to come do it better and you won't have that experience under your belt, and experience can be like some cool thing, but it doesn't matter. Like it'll be outdated at a certain point, like they're not using film and stuff that much anymore. So you might as well just slip on in there and go ahead and do it.
Well, and to put it perspective for you guys, me, Craig, Ed, and Johnny, we all talked about it last week. We liked Chicken House more than Jurassic World Dominion, and that's a huge accomplishment. I mean, compared to a big blockbuster film,
Well, because I had said something, and Johnny was kind of like thrown off about it. He thought I was like it was going to be controversial, but I felt that Chicken House had more passion put into the film. Like you guys actually wanted to make that film, whereas Jurassic World Dominion, in my eyes, was just like, hey, we have the story, we need to wrap it up. You guys probably need a payday. Let's do it. And it wasn't enjoyable. But when we're watching Chicken House, eyes were on the screen. We were, following everything, and it was a good film.
Yeah.
Thanks. A lot of it was people came to me and they wanted to be a part of my next movie. So it was a lot of like blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of people not planning to get paid. And it was all really a passion project for a lot of the people involved, because a lot of them don't get the chance to work on the bigger budget stuff because they don't have that experience. So this was like their way of stretching their legs like creatively or whatever. So it was very much a family thing of us just hoping to get it all together.
Honestly, one of the funny things is that like y'all included some of the little down home stuff, if you want to call it, like, oh, you live in Del City. Oh no, Del Shitty, you mean? And because like that's actually where I just moved from, a couple miles down the road. That's where my wife grew up. So
I love the dialogue.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool to see a film now that if I'm not mistaken, that was the premiere, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So, to see the premiere of a film like that and have little things like that that's included that you, like me as a person, knows about, with my wife and then like where we used to live and stuff like that is just kind of a cool little pinch of salt thrown into, the meal, if you will. I don't know, or the meat and potatoes as we like to call it. But
I think it's definitely an Oklahoma film, like Licorice Pizza is definitely a San Fernando Valley, I would think it is. And then, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, obviously a Hollywood movie. So why not like this Midwestern thing,
Yeah.
Hell or High Water is definitely Texas. So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's for
yeah.
sure.
I just have we'll wrap up with two more questions. I know you guys are probably super busy. It's getting a little late. Our topic today is an Adam Sandler movie, Hustle, which is exclusively on Netflix. Do you guys have like a favorite Netflix original movie, whether it be anything, even if it's a TV show? If you guys want to add.
Go ahead, Cassie.
I was late to the game, and I started watching Stranger Things. Guys, it's good. Okay,
Yeah.
People like harp on it, and sometimes, and I'm like, I just didn't want to watch it because I hate watching TV shows because I don't like waiting.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity. There's like 4 seasons now. Oh, I binged that shit in 2 days.
Yeah.
I was up late, so that's good stuff. When I cry, I don't know. I think that's my favorite for sure.
Definitely a good one.
Yeah.
I did watch that.
I honestly struggle with some Netflix originals. They kind of frustrate me where I'm just like, I'm just going to go look at the critically acclaimed section and see if there's anything there for me. But I did watch Hustle, and it brought tears to my eyes 3 times. But I mostly watch Netflix for the stand-up comedy specials that are on there. But I will say I love Meyerowitz Stories by Noah Baumbach. I don't know if you've seen it. It's pretty great. He's like the new Woody Allen minus the Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That was funny, Kate. Good job.
It's like intellectual New York family arguments. I love that stuff.
Were the
I didn't think
tears,
about that. That is very Woody Allen. I didn't think about that.
I'm a huge Sandler fan, so were the tears good or bad?
They were good tears,
Good
and
tears?
Sandler is also in the Meyerowitz Stories,
Yep.
as is Ben Stiller and a bunch of probably Dustin Hoffman, I think.
Dustin Hoffman.
A bunch of great actors, yeah. Definitely recommend. But yeah, I love Adam Sandler. He's so great.
And then obviously, one of our fun segments that we do every week, we come up with a new top 5 every week. It doesn't matter if nobody's heard of it or if it's just a classic like Goodfellas. Do you guys have a top 5 for movies? Just an all-time top 5 list, the GOAT list.
You go first, Kate.
Let me. Okay. I'll say Goodfellas, Death Proof, Inglourious Bastards, Cries and Whispers, and Layer Cake.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm throwing together, guys. Okay,
That's
That's a
good.
good list. Just throwing it together.
it's really hard to put together a top 5, but that's what I got.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be so lame.
We
Listen,
don't judge.
I've just got like guilty pleasure movies, okay? And
Those
to
are some of the best.
And to me, top tier, like if I'm sick or sad or whatever, like Tommy Boy, Wedding Singer. Let's do. I love Heartbeats. I like watching that movie too. Xavier Dolan film, and shitballs. Pretty much any like SNL movie. I would probably say also Night at the Roxbury. Come on.
Yes.
And then Mallrats for sure.
There you go.
All rats.
Do you have a film that you love but you don't want to tell people you love? Like Johnny likes Twilight.
Oh my god. Okay.
It's a Robert Pattinson thing. I mean, come on.
Well, no, listen, Twilight is so bad it's good. Okay? And I will watch those movies. I will show them to my children. I will show them to my niece and nephews. It is just so bad it's good. Man, but a movie that I don't want to tell people I like. Oh, any like romantic comedy. Like I try not to tell people. Like I watched Jawbreaker not too long ago, and I was like embarrassed to tell people. I don't know why, but Jawbreaker for sure is like one of those that I was like, should I tell people I saw that? I'm not sure. I paid for it too, so I don't know what's worth.
Johnny bought Abduction that had
Taylor
what's his
Lautner
name?
in it.
Taylor Lautner. So I don't think it gets much worse than that.
I was gonna say a movie that I watched a few weeks ago that I'm not sure if I want to tell anybody was Father's Day. If anybody's heard
You
or
guys were
watched
Was
talking
that
about
Mark
that.
Wahlberg or something?
No, this is like a cheesy like horror movie it's from 2000, I think it's from 2011, but it's just a little out there.
BRB, writing it in my notes.
Yeah. Father's Day.
Something's Gotta Give recently.
I love that movie.
I felt bad watching it. Like I felt like there was some guilty stuff happening, but I was still just loving it. But I guess that's not fair because it's Jack Nicholson and
Diane.
yeah. Maybe Freddie got fingered.
Oh yes. Oh,
Would
you should not
like
be
some
ashamed.
cousins?
Don't be ashamed, Kate.
Gotta finger Freddie.
Yeah. I brought that movie up to somebody at work, and I'm like, if HR heard about me talking about Freddie got fingered, I would probably not be here today.
I used to have like an unhealthy obsession with saying, "Daddy, would you like some sausages?"
Yes.
And everyone just was like, "Cassie, you need a therapist."
Oh my god, that's awesome.
But yeah, I think if unless you guys want to add anything else to this fun interview, I personally want to say thank you guys so much for hopping on with us for a few seconds or a few minutes, and me personally, just being obsessed with film, I honestly can't wait to see what you guys do next.
We will definitely be there at the premiere for sure.
Yeah, you guys made a lifetime fan out of me. So,
Yep.
And then I know you guys do a lot with like Rodeo Cinema and stuff. So with the news about us doing some live events with Rodeo Cinema, I honestly can't wait to see what we can try to do in the future if you guys want. So anytime you guys want to jump on and talk movies with us, you're more than welcome to. Just send me a message, and next week we're talking about Spawn. So
Okay. I will say, if anybody wants to watch Chicken House, it'll be playing June 23rd through the 28th through Chat Film Fest. That's Chattanooga Film Fest, and they're a genre film festival. So, and they're actually like super kick ass. So I would definitely recommend getting a pass and watching some of their films because they're like crazy horror films, just crazy. Everything's crazy. So, but it's totally worth it. Totally worth the pass.
Nice.
And you have those links on the social media as well, like on the Chicken House Facebook page.
Yeah,
So
at Chicken House Movie on Instagram and Facebook, there's like links to Chattanooga Film Fest. And you should go follow them just to see the stuff because it's pretty wild.
nice.
All right.
So
All right.
that we will do. Cassie, Kate, unless there's anything else you guys want to add, I want to say thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you
It was
guys.
Thank you.
fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, that was the interview. I
There we
want to again say thank you to everybody who helped put that together, and for them to come hang out and just talk movies and their movie with us. So, but guys, it's been a little bit, and I know this is a fun, nice show. Craig also put it there in the comments. So the Chattanooga Film Fest.
Just a little reminder.
You guys can check it out soon. We also had some comments. I love having discs myself, audio CDs included. So
there's also a lot of other comments.
There is. But checking it out, guys, it's time for one of our most favorite segments of each episode. We're talking top 5. It is our top 5 Netflix original movies. All right. Craig blimped away. So we're talking our top 5 Netflix movies. You guys can email along and play along. Email at cinemen921@gmail.com. I just have 2 honorable mentions. I'll rapid fire through them right quick. My 2 honorable mentions are going to be Mitchell's versus the Machines, and my official honorable mention is Roma. Anybody else have any honorable mentions? Zach?
Yeah, I got Malcolm and Marie with John David Washington and Zendaya, The Mitchells versus the Machines, and my official honorable mention is Mudbound.
Nice. Anybody else, or we'll just start off with number 5?
Just start off.
Zach, I'll let you go next.
Okay. Number 5 for me is a film that came out in 2020, so not long ago. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, starring Viola Davis and the late, great Chadwick Boseman. Everyone thought that he was going to win Best Actor. His performance was spectacular in it. It's only an hour, I think 40 minutes long, so you're in and out. It's based off August Wilson's great play. It feels very much like a filmed play almost. Highly recommend it. So number 5 is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Oh, awesome. Well, your film was, your number 5 was short and sweet. My film is girthy.
I already know it.
My number 5 is going to be The Irishman. Gangster flicks are my go-to. This is a biography crime film on Jimmy Hoffa, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Joe Pesci, Harvey Keitel, Ray Romano, directed by the great Martin Scorsese. It is long, but guys, I just recommend it, man. The dialogue, the scenes where all these legends are just put together, and honestly, the story of Jimmy Hoffa is a really interesting story. If you guys want to find a Jimmy Hoffa story that's not 3.5 hours, I recommend Hoffa with Danny DeVito and Jack Nicholson from the 90s. But The Irishman is on Netflix. Break it up into sections if you want. Watch an hour and a half here and an hour and a half there. It's a really good movie, and I highly recommend it. One thing that's in common, believe it or not, all these movies that I'm naming that's in my top 5, I got to hand it to Netflix. They're all 10-star movies for me. Every single one that I'm naming from 5 to 1 is a 10-star film for me. So number 5 for me is The Irishman.
It's a strong one to start off with.
Edward, what about you? Number 5.
Number 5, The Old Guard, Charlize Theron. Just kind of, she came off Atomic Blonde with this and just kind of thought it, another badass role for her. So yeah, if you've never checked that out, for sure, go ahead and hit that up, because it's just another kind of a hardcore female flick that's going to show great, strong female lead.
Nice.
So
Number 5 for you, Craig?
Number 5 for me is going to be Marriage Story. Adam Driver, Scarlett Johansson. Just recently watched it not too long ago. Again, Adam Driver, I think, got one of his bigger starts being Kylo Ren, but he's nailed a lot of his other movies outside of that. And this is just another good one. I think Netflix did really good with this one.
Good, good. Zach, did you say your number 5?
Yeah, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
You did. I'm sorry. I zoned out for a little bit. So number 4 for you, Zach.
What's your number 5, Johnny?
I already said.
Oh, it was The Irishman. Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna follow Craig. Number 4 is Marriage Story. Phenomenal cast with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver. They both should have won Oscars for that. They're so freaking good in that. Laura Dern, the late Ray Liotta's in it. Directed by Noah Baumbach. It's a film that you don't feel happy watching it, but like by the end of it, you kind of come to this like baseline of like,
no, I feel happy watching it.
This is really the only conclusion that this is going to have. So, and just, yeah, Driver and Johansson is just, they're phenomenal in it. And you can go pick it up on Criterion. So,
already got my copy day one, son. Number 4 for me is going to be 2020's Pieces of a Woman. I had no, honestly, idea what I was walking into, starring Vanessa Kirby and one Shia LaBeouf. But you know what? This movie will put you on the ground. And this is me being dead serious. Anybody who wants to watch this movie, go watch the first 10 minutes. As a film fan, the first 10 minutes of this movie will take your insides, roll it up, throw it on the ground, and just stomp on it. It's so powerful in the first 10 minutes that you don't know if you want to love it or just hate it and cry yourself to sleep. It is that powerful of a first 10-minute movie that I've ever seen in my life. And it's just one of those movies that, Vanessa Kirby gives a defining career performance. And Shia LaBeouf is right behind her. So number 4 for me is Pieces of a Woman from 2020.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I don't need a movie to cry me to sleep.
I bet. Number 4 for you, Edward.
Number 4 for me, I'm going to go ahead and put Fear Street 1666, 1666, whichever you want to call it.
Pick up sticks.
Hey, all 3 of the Fear Streets are awesome. If you haven't seen them, if you like horror for that matter, just literally go and watch, because the ride is awesome. It's kind of a cool little trilogy to sit through and even kind of watch the journey, for that matter, for the characters and for how the curse evolves, or with 1666, where they go to try and find how to stop the curse and its origin and all that stuff. So yeah, Fear Street for me, 1666. You can't go wrong with any of the 3. Simple as that.
Correct. Number 4 for you, sir.
Number 4 for me, it's kind of, I know it's not rated very high, but I'm going to go with The Adam Project. Ryan Reynolds, Jennifer Garner, Zoe Saldana, Mark Ruffalo. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I think it's not one that has like the biggest like wow storyline, or it's just, it was a good film. I had fun watching it. I would watch it again. We kind of based that some of our scores off rewatchability. I would watch it again. So that's going to be my number 4.
Real good. Nice way to round out the top 4. Zach, number 3 for you, sir.
Yeah, number 3, probably my top 3 could be switched up any day, and I totally agree with you, Craig. I mean, this list is definitely, if I'm going to rewatch a Netflix movie, these are the 5 that I'm going to rewatch.
Yes.
So, number 3 is The Irishman. I truly loved it. I understand people's problems with the girthiness of it, but strong performances from De Niro, Pacino, Pesci. Awesome Scorsese film. And like you said, Johnny, the whole conspiracy of Jimmy Hoffa is very interesting, and I think that they did a awesome job of trying to find an answer to that. So
number 3 for me is going to be another 2020 movie. I love this director. I'll watch anything he does. Spike Lee's Da 5 Bloods from 2020. Fun movie. from start to finish. This is another 2.5 hour movie, but the soundtrack is amazing. The cinematography is amazing, and the performances by anybody in this movie. Delroy Lindo, Jonathan Majors is in it. Clark Peters. Man, it's just more greatness put out by Spike Lee. That's all I have to say. And like I said, all these movies for me are 10. So, The Five Bloods is my number 3.
I feel like that one didn't make as like a hard impact like with Spike Lee as Black Klansman did. I feel like it was just kind of like under the radar type thing.
Yeah.
I feel like because Spike Lee's The Black Klansman was so controversial, people had to go see it and talk about it. When they saw the Five Bloods come out, they're like, "Oh, it's a Netflix war movie. Let's check it out." But yeah, that's my number 3, The Five Bloods.
I definitely think the titles played a little bit in that as well. The Black Klansman kind of catches people's eyes a little bit more than The Five Bloods.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Edward, number 3 is for you, sir.
We actually did an episode over this not too long ago. Don't Look Up. Nice product placement. I like that. Yes, sir. But Leonardo does wonderful in this. I mean, Meryl Streep, of course, wonderful.
Yeah,
but
we had a full episode on it. It was the first episode of the year.
Yeah. So
Go
yeah,
back
if you haven't heard that episode, go back and hear it. If you haven't seen it, go back and see it. Yeah, like I said, we did the whole entire episode of it. I thought it was a fun ride. So yeah.
Craig, number 3 for you, sir.
Number 3 for me, I forgot to pull it up. It's going to be Bird Box, though. This kind of kicked off really Netflix kind of going with their full length, like major films that they were going to start pushing on their platform. And, when Bird Box came out, everybody was talking about it. It was, it was on Twitter, it was on Facebook. It was just like, how is this just going straight to streaming? And I think it's a very unique type story that they brought up, and I think it worked very well.
I think it came out the same year as A Quiet Place, and like a lot of people were comparing the two.
Yeah.
So
for it being a Netflix original where you didn't have to go pay to a theater to go see it, I think Sandra Bullock nailed it. It was just a good cast and it was a good watch.
Nice. Number 2 for you, Zach. We're getting into it. Number 2.
Number 2 is a documentary that actually won Best Documentary at the 2020 Oscars. My Octopus Teacher. Phenomenal. It's an hour and 25 minutes. Nature documentary. Basically, a filmmaker kind of forges a bond between an octopus and the kelp forest in South Africa. Beautifully well shot. Every time I watch it, I get a little teary-eyed, and it's just a phenomenal, well-made film. I think when it won Best Documentary, it kind of sparked a new interest in it, and a lot of well-known people have come out and said, "Hey, this is a very good film. You should check it out." So number 2 is My Octopus Teacher.
Real good. Number 2 for me, I won't spend too much time on it. Edward had it in there. We did a whole full episode on it, first episode of the year. Number 2 for me is Don't Look Up. The great Leo, tremendous movie. Number 2 on my list. Go check it out. Don't Look Up. Edward, number 2 for you.
Number 2 for me, I kind of didn't really watch it until later on, way after the hype, for that matter, died off. Bird Box. Definitely, it was good. I don't think it was necessarily worth as much hype as it got, but it definitely was good. Sandra Bullock, she's one of America's sweethearts. So I mean, you always got to try and catch her in a role. She's always usually pretty good. So yeah.
You got to applaud Netflix for that, because at the time there's no HBO Max, there's no Disney Plus. It's really just them and Hulu at the time, and they were like, we're going to spend big money on a big budget film, and it's going to go straight to our streaming. So I think that was one of the better decisions Netflix done, which obviously they haven't made many lately, but
they're trying to filter themselves out, I guess.
Number 2 for you?
Number 2 for me, it's The Girthy Irishman. I think it's a great film. It's just hard to watch. because it's so damn long.
Craig
But
didn't know what to do with all that girth.
I did not. But you gotta appreciate a good film when you see it, and it was a good film. Scorsese delivered on all parts. The cast, I mean, you can't get much better than that cast. So
Yeah.
it's number 2 for me.
Zach, this is it, man. What is your favorite all-time Netflix original movie?
Number 1 for me, I've seen it 3 times, and I just enjoyed the immersive world of it. Number 1 is The Harder They Fall. The all African American, incredible cast with Jonathan Majors, Regina King, Delroy Lindo, Idris Elba, Lakeith Stanfield. I think the director, James Samuel. I think he was trying to not replicate Tarantino because it feels very much a Tarantino film. I think he was just trying to pay homage to that, and I think he pulled it off incredible. So number 1 is The Harder They Fall.
Nice. Number 1 for me, somebody already mentioned it, but it's Marriage Story. When you have a story that is told just phenomenally from start to finish, when you have great character development, when you feel for the kid, when you feel for each character, when you hate each lawyer that you see in this movie, the dialogue between Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver is so perfect almost. It's like they're having a conversation that you're not supposed to watch. I have nothing but great things to say about this movie. It reminds me so much of an updated version of Kramer versus Kramer. I can watch Kramer versus Kramer all day long. Marriage Story is the same as well.
We haven't done an episode on it, have we? I don't think we have.
On neither one of them, and I think it's definitely hitting the feels for me talking about it. But personally, it's my favorite all-time Netflix movie, and I'm just so glad that I got to grab this and have a physical copy with me at all times. So, Marriage Story is number 1 for me. Edward, what's number 1 for you?
Number 1 for me, I followed this comedian for quite a while, since he was basically doing little shows and musicals in his room in his parents' house, for that matter. And now he has his own stand-ups and movies now that he's directed. Bo Burnham, Inside. Bo Burnham is one of those generational talents, in my opinion. Personally, I can listen to him sing about messed up stuff
with comedy.
Yeah, he does wonderful in that. And then to go ahead and be introduced by you, actually, Johnny, Juan, for that matter, 8th Grade.
Yeah.
Was wonderful. I thought that was just a hell of a different thing. Like, kind of in retrospect with Jordan Peele and John Krasinski, for that matter. I didn't really see him doing something as serious as that. So yeah, Bo Burnham, Inside. If you haven't checked it out, I do recommend it. Guy's hilarious. So,
Craig, you're in that spot again, man. Finish us off. Number 1 for you.
Seems like I'm always finishing you guys off. My number 1 is going to be the movie we're talking about today. When I watched it, I just thought it was one of Sandler's. I personally think it's one of his better films. So for it to be, it mixes basketball with Adam Sandler, a good story, and great dialogue, great casts. I thought it was really good. It's my number 1.
We're about to get into it, but before we get into it, guys, go check out some Red and Blues Pizza right here locally at 4500 South May Avenue, right here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 405-602-2838. They have family deals, 2 large pizzas, 1 topping for $18. Pizza and calzone, 1 large pizza, 1 large calzone, $20. The jumbo deal, 2 large pizzas, unlimited topping, 12 wings, and a 2-liter of soda, $32.50. Or you can get the 2 large pizzas, unlimited or specialty, for just $20. Let Myra know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you. And you know what? When you come see us on July 4th, on that Monday, you'll get to come have some awesome Red and Blues pizza. Again, you can call them and pick up your pizza, 405-602-2838, or go check them out in person. Let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you. We've already had some good emails about Red and Blues Pizza, so go check it out, guys. And remember to always keep it local, and we enjoy it.
Tell them the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you.
Yeah.
There you go. But now, guys, it is time to get into Hustle. Adam Sandler's new movie streaming exclusively now on Netflix with a June 3rd, 2022 in-theater release date. And then it hit Netflix a few days later. IMDb currently has it at 7.4, Rotten Tomatoes at 92%, the Metascore is at 68%, and the Google users have it at 97% with a $21 million budget. A basketball scout discovers a phenomenal street ball player while in Spain and sees the prospect as his opportunity to get back on the NBA coaching sideline. Starring Adam Sandler, Queen Latifah, Juancho Hernan Gomez, Ben Foster, Kenny Smith, Anthony Edwards, not that Anthony Edwards, Robert Duvall, Jordan Ho, and directed by Jeremiah Zagar. And before we get started, if this is your first time checking us out, you guys, we do have a little director talk that we do, and we'll talk about Jeremiah Zagar. Zach, if you want to bring up the filmography, like always, he doesn't really have a lot of stuff to do. I think maybe this was one of his bigger projects, maybe.
Yeah, I mean,
what's some of the stuff he's done?
I'm looking at it right now, and he doesn't, like you said, Johnny, he doesn't have much out. I mean, I think this is pretty much his breakout directorial debut. He's done a lot of short little films, or
which
things you could say.
Yeah, go check his stuff out. You can just YouTube his name, and honestly, you can check out some of his physical shorts.
We the Animals, which is a feature length film he did back in 2018. I think that was like his last like big thing, which has gotten. I think you can watch it on Hulu actually, so that's cool.
All right, Craig, we'll start with you. You kind of said it in a few short words. First time watching this, obviously it's on Netflix. What do you think in a few short words?
Yeah, so I mean, I told Mallory that we had this is what we're doing the episode on, and so she said she wanted to watch it, so we sat down, watched it. Before that, we watched the Buzz Lightyear documentary because she was doing some stuff, and I watched it. Great watch, highly recommend it. Forgot to mention that. But leading into this, we started watching it, and anything with Adam Sandler has been a staple in all of our filmography for forever. There's been a few misses in there, let's be honest, but when this one started, it's just it feels like he's kind of going through that hidden gems role a little bit, but it's more so on the like, not as gangster, but he's actually like a coach for the 76ers. And it's cool to just see him in that role. I feel like this was a role that he not as meant to play, but he was very comfortable in this role. Because he does like sports. It just feels like he would be that kind of people person to be able to go scout and do all that stuff. So
I'll leave mine short and sweet. You guys know that this is, I tried to honestly keep it unbiased as possible, because I do watch, I live, breathe, eat, and sleep a lot of Adam Sandler movies, and we had an email a few weeks ago that was like, Juan knows Adam Sandler so much. How come you guys aren't doing like an Adam Sandler month, or how come you guys don't do it every week? Well, guess what? You woke the beast, because in September it's his birthday, and we are doing an Adam Sandler month. But that being said, I still went in with an open mind, and I'll get into my thoughts about this movie a little bit later on. Ed, what about you? A few short words, short and sweet, before we get into the review. First thoughts when the movie was over.
Got to agree with Craig. It reminded me a lot of a previous role. Liked the movie. Thought it was a good choice. I thought definitely that he does roles now that to where you can almost just imagine it's just him. Just Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler. I mean, honestly.
Zach, what about you? A few short words when the movie was over. What'd you think?
Very powerful film. I was highly, highly impressed with it. We'll get into it here in a little bit, but I think this is probably top 3, maybe top 5 Sandler performances. So
It's interesting that you guys say that you all kind of liked it, because when I picked out this movie, I had no idea what it was about. I was like, oh, it's a LeBron James produced film starring Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler vowed that if he didn't win an Oscar or even get nominated for Uncut Gems, he's going to make the worst movie that anybody's ever seen. I think that was Halloween Hoobie, but this movie shocked the hell out of me. And even going in with a completely open mind, I was at all with the storytelling. I was kind of at all with the performances together and the story in general. I was like, oh, this is a Netflix original based movie. I'm completely surprised by it, with Adam Sandler in it, because, you know, some of his stuff has not been very good with him being exclusively tied to Netflix. But you get in the first hour, you get so much character development. You get so much storytelling from knowing who Adam Sandler is, which he plays Stanley. You get to see who his daughter is, who is a film enthusiast. You get to see who Rex is, who is played by Robert Duvall, who isn't in it for very long, but he still has a powerful role in the movie. Kenny Smith plays Leon. Wancho, you get introduced to Wancho as he plays Bo Cruz, which I kept wanting to call him Paul Cruz.
No, it's Hernan Gomez.
Right, but his first name is Wancho.
Yeah, it's Juancho Hernagomez.
Is it?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And then you get Queen Latifah, who plays Teresa, which is the wife. And you get the great Ben Foster. So, Zach, you can imagine the stroke I was having watching this movie.
Adam Sandler and Ben Foster. Oh my God!
In the same movie, I just the first hour though just flew by because of you got all that character development in less than really even 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, even the first like 10, 15 minutes of this movie, where it's just kind of like a montage of Adam Sandler just trying to recruit, and you just cut with the fast food that he's always eating and sleeping on the beds and the couches. It's like, this is his life, and he's just trying to find the next all-star player, basically.
Well, Mallory had said, like, I wonder how much each company went, like, if they asked Adam Sandler to be in the film, or if he went to him and was like, hey, you can have a 30-second spot in the film for 50K, as advertisement. Because he put, like, it was out there in the open. McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut. They were all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was eating the fast food so fast, and then when you get introduced with him and Queen Latifah, I'm like, you know what? Is this movie going to make me cry at the end? Is he going to die because of all the fast food? Because there was the weight jokes, and there was him eating the fast food jokes. I was like, this can't, this has to lead to something bad. That's where I thought the film was going. It didn't go that way, but
It did for Robert Duvall.
Duvall, yeah. It got him. What did you guys think? An actor who is, quite legendary. We talked about him a few weeks ago with The Godfather. An outstanding actor, and I appreciate that so much with Adam Sandler movies. He goes out and he gets, even if it's for 10 minutes, he goes out and he gets who he wants, when he wants, and the impact that they have is big and is huge. It's huge.
I think he has a higher respect in Hollywood than a lot of people give him credit for.
Yeah.
I think his respect in Hollywood is bar none.
I've heard about his like production process and how he like turns out scripts like nothing. It's like, dude, how much time is in your day? Like he whether it be his Netflix specials or something he's going to release in theaters, like his team is always working on something.
Well, not only like Zach, like you said, his team, whether it be some of the main cats that he's had in some of his older Sandler films. This one was written though by Will Fetters, who I've honestly never really heard of, but he wrote A Star Is Born. He wrote The Lucky One, Remember Me with Robert Pattinson, Hustle. So he's written some really good, down to earth, feel good stories.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about the process when he finally found Bo? And what did you guys think of Juancho in this role as Bo? Because some of those movies that have a real athlete playing a character,
It's bad.
it can get bad. But how did you guys feel about Juancho? Whoever wants to step up first.
First off, I think Juancho, everyone who was in this movie was believable. Juancho, Anthony Edwards, all the basketball players who you would assume would be, Space Jam-esque. No shot at LeBron, but come on. But you have a movie full of sports and athletes, stars in the NBA who you would assume have no acting chops, and they were all pretty good. And not only that, but you put Hernan Gomez in a situation that is real life to a lot of people who might watch this film. You're not able to chase your dream because you fell into a situation that you have to provide for. That's step one is your family that you created. No matter what your dream is, your dream kind of fades away once you have that family, and you have to focus on them and make sure they don't fall into the life where they can't chase their dream. And
he could relate a lot to the character because literally he actually is from Spain for that matter as well. So there's a huge thing, but he actually played in leagues over in Spain for that matter, basketball leagues. So there's that part of it. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on that they probably grabbed from his actual life, and then added some of what the script was going into and clash those together, and there's your product.
Well, and that whole introduction scene with Hernan Gomez, the street basketball sequence is phenomenal. It's so like down. It almost feels like a gritty sequence that they just went out and filmed it almost. Basically, they just got a whole bunch of extras. Sandler was there, and they said just play a game.
It's kind of like a White Man Can't Jump or something like that feel in a way.
But you would think with Adam Sandler and some of the films that he's been in, and with it being produced and just, you said LeBron James produced it, or did he direct it?
Yeah,
he's the producer on it. Yeah.
So you would think that it would just kind of feel cheesy in moments, and the production quality of this movie was much higher than I expected.
Well, the movie's not about LeBron. That's why it was good.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, for somebody who, LeBron produced Space Jam, and we saw how that kind of was.
Yeah.
And then you go and you do this, and it's like, if this is the kind of production skills that LeBron has, regardless of the talent that was around him, I don't feel like any role or any portion of this movie was bad. You can't point the finger and say oh, the cinematography was bad, the dialogue was bad, the direction. It was all. I feel like everybody in this film had a very solid role, and it came together very well.
I even like the scene where you're introduced to Queen Latifah, and Stan says that his daughter can go to the Evil Dead watch fest that is going to be at a cemetery, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Because also, we haven't really talked a lot about her, Queen Latifah, but her in this role, I really thought she stepped it up, and I thought it was a really fun conversation piece, that we're about to have between the chemistry of her and Adam Sandler. Them two throughout the whole movie, it was just like, man, are you guys sure that you aren't seeing each other?
And to be honest, I thought that was going to be the weak link of the film, because I was like, Queen Latifah's in this. I was like, all right, and she was able to stay up with Sandler, and that when Sandler is in his A game, that it can be a hard challenge, to be honest.
I just think they were authentic with each other. I don't think they tried to really okay, we have this character, we need to act up to this character. I think it was just hey, we're husband and wife. This is how we feel towards each other. We're both very supportive of one another. Just be authentic. And I think that's really what they did, and it came out that way on the film.
Exactly.
So I love the scenes where he gets, he picks up Bo and he's chasing him, and you already start to see Bo's Latino heat, if you will, with how frustrating he gets super quick from the street game to Sandler, following him at his house, And then he even gets Dirk on the phone. He's like, "Hey, look, Dirk, how's the retirement home?" And
Yeah.
the little cameos back and forth with the different NBA players are fun.
Dirk was a little stiff. I'm not gonna lie. Dirk was a little stiff.
He was, but it was funny at the same time.
It was funny, yeah.
But I think it was you, Craig, that was bringing it up, or Johnny. It was just like the pool that Adam Sandler has. He could just say, "Hey, can you just do like a 5-minute cameo?" And I think he has such a nice reputation in Hollywood. They're saying, "Yeah, that's cool. Let's do this." And I think that's the power that Sandler has, not just as a quote unquote actor in Hollywood, but just or a producer in some way. It's just whether it be Spade or Kevin James, Chris Rock, or even just like all these different basketball players, he just has that drive, and I think people just want to be around him.
Well, speaking of hidden gems, I think that might have pushed a lot of people to be like, "Hey, I saw what you did in the last basketball movie. If you're doing a basketball movie, I want a part of it."
Yeah.
Uncut Gems.
That's what I said.
Maybe what they should have done for a new Space Jam, Adam Sandler.
Ed, you kind of brought this up to me before we started streaming. You said it wasn't really like your cup of tea. Did you have some?
I was
just trying to start controversy.
Hey, I'll roll up my sleeves and we'll go to town when you throw Adam Sandler under the bus, man. You got problems.
What's up, dog? We can do it, fool. Man, I was just messing with you.
Did anybody have any nitpicks or like stuff that they did not like about the movie?
I really can't. I mean, honestly, because like Bo, the character of Bo was played very well. I mean, the guy knows, what it takes. As far as Adam Sandler, his whole role, I thought that was awesome. It was kind of like a Rocky thing in a way, if you will.
You did kind of like a Creed situation.
In a way, yeah, for that matter.
I did like a lot of the combine ready training montages.
Dude, they were good.
I think the music that was picked in the background was pretty good.
I mean, honestly, Anthony Edwards, the villain, basically wonderful. So,
I personally didn't really like Ben Foster. Maybe that's because his character was supposed to be hated, but I was just like, when he was on screen, I was like, man, I don't like this guy. So either it was really good in casting, or I just really don't like Ben Foster.
I mean, que no las dos.
I think. Yeah, I mean, I can't, without really nitpicking it, I don't have any like major complaints with this film. Probably, if I had to nitpick, it'd probably just be, at some points it was a little predictable. You could probably take a guess of what was going to happen, and it happened. So, I mean, other than that, I can't find anything wrong with this movie, to be honest.
Not really.
I was saying, I really liked when they showed up to play with all the Spain players.
Yeah.
You had Alex Abrinas, OKC, and Jose Calderon. You had all the kind of Spain international players, and he goes out there and dunks in flip flops. Or no, he taps the bar to show his vertical, and they show him in flip flops, and they're like, "Hey, you're off the team. We're getting this guy." It was just good sort of. That's athlete's banner when you're playing with somebody and you have that bond, and you're like, okay, we're friends, but hey, this guy's better than you, so you got to go. Like that's athlete banner, and I think it was put in very well in this film.
Well, and I think one of the biggest compliments I can give this movie is that you don't even have to be a sports fan to enjoy it. Honestly, people are going to see this. It's like, it's a basketball film, all right, whatever. It's not. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I think the overall message of the film is very powerful. You can apply that to your own life and whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's a film that has basketball in it. It's not a basketball film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the hashtag BOA challenge when it just like blew up on social media?
That was kind of cheesy, but
I did like the BOA challenge though, because who was like honestly like how Cassie earlier was talking about getting into
filmmaking. Yeah.
Use YouTube, use the internet, and
use your resources.
Yeah, use your resources. And I like how they introduced, hey, real life issues and situations putting that YouTube and streaming stuff into the movie. Because how does somebody get noticed in today? If you're not in the combine, if you're not in the draft, you can hashtag throwing up the threes on the blacktop in a certain part of your neighborhood. And guess what? If it goes viral, so I do get it, Craig. I think the money aspect of, hey, if you can block this, we'll give you like $50 or whatever. I do think that was a little cheesy, but I think it was a fun scene. If I had to nitpick anything, because I don't want it to sound like we're just saying this is the greatest movie of all time, I didn't like the ongoing fighting between Teresa and Stanley.
Well, my thing is, and another kind of nitpick is the character of Kate Merrick, who's Vince's brother, played by Heidi Gardner.
Yeah,
she's only in the movie for like 10 minutes, but they really play up the idea that they have like a history, and I kind of thought that would come into play, especially with maybe Teresa or something.
Yep, 100%. Well, and I mean, I think it does kind of hint at it, Zach, but it doesn't really hint at it to where like it solidifies it, because it says that he's been in the NBA for 30 years. And it seems like he's probably been with the Sixers for a very long time, with Robert Duvall treating him almost like a son, giving them the office that their uncle used and all that stuff. And I think it's there, but they tease it. They don't actually show it.
And I don't even really necessarily say that as a love interest, but just more of like, you could tell that they're like a brother and sister bond between the two characters.
Yeah.
Because you can clearly tell that she likes Stanley over Vince. By the time we get to the film, you're just like, God, I'm glad that character's gone.
So I do want to go back about 2 minutes or so. And I know, rehashing, but using your resources and all that. Think about this in real life. Kimbo Slice, man. He went from knocking people's eyes out in the backyards or making huge whelps on a guy or goose eggs, whatever, to actually getting in the UFC and fighting in the octagon. Was he one of the greatest of all time? Probably not.
No,
was
but
he
he got there.
Hardest hitters? Probably. And was he one of probably the most promoted fighter, well-promoted fighters ever? Possibly. He's kind of a Conor McGregor heavyweight, to be fully honest.
For somebody who wasn't brought up through the ranks, so to speak,
the system,
he came up very quickly, and that was due to social media.
What was it? Break.com, for that matter, that used to be out there. I used to watch those fights, and it was some brutal stuff. But then, everybody was like, dude, he's going to the UFC. Like, this is nuts. And, it got huge. And he was a big popular kind of digital age icon, one of the forebears of that whole little thing right there. And I mean, he really did that.
Of coming to fame through social media. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really did that. So, but I thought the chemistry between Bo and Stanley was there. I think it was kind of a cool thing, but with the plane ride and all that, coming in, and he's like, what, the day before, don't do nothing, all that, and he leads him into the room, and he just sees his daughter. His world lights up because it goes from training mode to father mode, and it's just like, yo, my family's here. Yeah, haven't seen you on.
Speaking of the plane ride, he's like, you're tall, so I'm going to give you my first class. And he gets all the bread, and he goes back there. He's like, "Hey, I got bread." He's like, oh, I don't want to cause a riot. He's like, "It's good though. Try it." He's like, "Give me the damn muffin." And then, he takes the muffin. The chemistry between the two. I think the fact that it goes from Adam Sandler's character is really just trying to prove himself to the organization and become the assistant head coach that he's worked so hard to get. And it turns into that bond that at the end you see how the bond is. But it's something that, in the most unlikely circumstances, you can make a lifelong friend simply by, being, you don't
there.
And you don't think that you're really helping him because you're really just trying to help yourself. But in the long run, when Bo finds out about everything that he did for him, about paying the bills, because he asked him, he was like, if the Sixers weren't paying, who was paying? And he said, I was, and me and T. And I think that comes to when somebody who's been struggling for so long realizes what somebody was doing for them the entire time to help them get to where they wanted to go. That is when the respect level just reaches an all-time high, and that's a bond that can't be broken for years to come.
And I mean, I will say that go ahead, Ed. What were you saying?
No.
I was going to say, I will say the ending of the film, it did. I will say, I said it was a little predictable, but I didn't see them. Sandler being the coach for the 76ers, and then Bo, did he go to the Celtics?
Boston Celtics.
Yeah. So I thought they would still be on the same team. So
I had seen some memes during the finals saying that he would be the only one that could help the Celtics because they were losing. So I kind of knew as soon as Brad Stevens, who's the GM for the Celtics, talked to Adam Sandler and said, we could really use that guy. Come talk to me afterwards. When I saw that, I kind of knew that's how everything was going to play out. But the way that it happened on the court, him going up to him and, hugging it out, and then him telling Tobias Harris on his team, like, hey, if he goes left, he wants his jump shot. Hey, I love you, but I'm also here to win as well.
Right.
So. Which, I kind of thought the whole tattoo thing was really cool because literally he said, like, these are all for this, that. And, the girl was like, oh, well, why is this side? And he's like, oh, those are the ones for my dad. And it like literally blew that line off.
I think you have to mention though, he said this was for my daughter, this was for my mom, and this is for the people that I care about.
Yeah.
His other side was completely blank, which that was for his dad. So that and then, explaining that scene, I think you have to explain it that way. That way the listener can, it's just that's just a deep scene.
His dad wasn't there for him, so there's no reason for him to put tattoos on his body.
And then, kind of afterwards at the end, you see that oak tree on his left forearm, the blank forearm for that matter, just signaling that this is you on me. You're a father figure in my life. You ain't my dad, but you are my, father figure. Because
it's not just a tattoo, because his mom tells him, like, you're the strong oak tree for us. He's being your oak tree. He's the one that's helping you become who you want to be. And then, so he has a tattoo of the oak tree with the never back down, which is what Robert Duvall told Adam Sandler, who was his father figure, kind of. Mm-hmm. And then Sandler tells him, who ends up kind of being his father figure. And I think it's all just, it kind of starts with Robert Duvall. You may treat somebody some way, and it's a trickle down effect. And you don't know how far your kindness goes when you are kind to somebody. And I think that's kind of a small message that may not be as prominent that some people might have missed.
And I think, there are, like you said, guys, there are so many messages in the movie, but I think like the heart of this film is during the training montage. I think when he's making them run up the street where it's like a inclined plane or steep plane. He says, obsession beats talent. I think that's so, you could be the most talented player in the world, whether it be football, basketball, soccer, whatever. But if you don't have that drive, if you don't have the obsession to be the best, then you're going to be outdone by somebody else.
Well, not just that. It's he asked him, he says, do you love this game?
Yes.
Because I love this game. I love what I do. I do it because I love it. If you don't love it, it doesn't matter. You're not going to want to wake up at 3:00 to go do it because you don't love it. You just,
it goes back to that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first teaser I saw for this movie was him talking about him saying that line to Bo. I was like, oh, this is probably going to be a special movie, and it truly was.
Kind of just snuck up on us there. What did you guys think of the ending? I know we kind of just danced around. You have the dinner. Teresa bringing up charging the porno onto the card and charging
$9 Pringles.
The $9 Pringles, which is funny.
It wasn't that good though. I only ate one.
Taking one bite of the $39 steak, so Sandler picks it up for breakfast.
Yeah, he said he has it in the car.
Yeah.
And then you have, the combine scene where he loses his cool. He gets one last shot to play in the combine, and he snaps because he lets Anthony Edwards get to him. And he's the number two. He's the number 2 prospect, and he, coaches are there, national TV, and he snaps, and he put, instead of punching him, he punches the ground. but he loses cool. He gets up and he just walks away, and it almost feels like, man, that was your chance, and you just kind of threw it away.
Well, and
Well-
it's also because he has that past history of violence. So with him doing that, it's like, Sandler even says it. He's like, oh, he's going to be this labeled thug that has a troubled past, and it plays into the movie.
And I like the real world aspect of it, of, because he lashed out, because he tried to assault this person. In today's world, your career's done. Like, you can't get a second shot at that.
And then
Especially in the Combine.
And then you also have to look at Anthony Edwards playing Kermit Wiltz.
Kermit the Frog. Yeah.
He went after that specifically because he knew he was afraid of Bo. He knew that Bo could beat him.
He wasn't afraid, but he was definitely threatened.
Well, no, because threatened, yes, but at the same time, when he got him down onto the actual ground and he slammed his hand down onto the actual hardwood, you seen that fear, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you seen that afterwards.
You're talking about beating him in a fisticuffs, not in an actual basketball game.
No. He was, like Craig said, threatened, but at the same time he had fear, because I'm sure that Kermit had never had, after a certain point in his life, he hadn't had a rival like that could potentially outclass him. And, so he had to have that extra mentality, that strategical, value of it, because without it, more than likely, it wasn't his game anymore. So later on when they play in, the gym, not the Combine, but after, when he was supposed to be on the flight, when they play, he beats him several different times because he doesn't have that outclass mentality. He just has his skills, and eventually skills pull out into Bo's favor, for that matter.
Well, it also comes down to, Kermit was using something that was very personal to him against him. When with his mom and his daughter in the stands, he was talking. And I love that Sandler was trying to talk shit to him in order to get him prepared for that. I thought that was a genius, just a plot device.
And it happens. Because, don't get me wrong, you don't, there's a ton of stuff, because I like watching Mic'd Up. And Johnny, Craig, y'all might like it too, but there's so much shit talking out in the middle of the field that goes on.
Anything for an advantage when you're in a competitive game like that. It's not just.
It's even
X's and O's. It's what can I do to take you off your game to
get your mindset off of what you need to do.
Yeah, it's anything.
The little footwork, because with a wide receiver versus a cornerback, those first 2 or 3 steps are crucial to that entire route run, that entire catch, the entire play.
What
for
do
that
you guys
matter.
think of the scene? He loses cool at the Combine, and then you have, which is honestly a pretty sad scene, where Sandler's taking him back to the airport, and he's like, maybe this just wasn't meant to be for now, but it's not goodbye. See you later. And then you get that final call, and he's like, hey, 5:00, gym, no press, just important people are going to be there. And that one last game at the high school, he kills it, knocks it out of the park, and you get your good happy ending. You get Sandler coaching, being the assistant coach with Doc Rivers with the 76ers, and then you have Bo is in the NBA with the Celtics. So, and I love the meeting at the end between the two, because in any sport, that's how it is. Whether you played for the same team, coached and played, when you meet up, and I even look at this in life, when you meet somebody, I feel like you should always be on your best behavior and show anybody that you meet the most respect, because no matter what business you're in, you're going to find that person later on down the line. And that's, the determination, the hard work, it's always going to come back around. So I loved the ending, and I just thought it was very, very well put together.
Well, and I think it comes down, it's also showing hey, we did this together. We both got to where we wanted to be. Yeah. And it was by building a bond and just being authentic to each other.
Yeah.
Favorite scenes, guys? Ed, you want to go first? Mention a favorite scene or two.
the training scenes were all kind of really cool to watch and all that good stuff. I've got to say the end scene between Sandler and between Stanley and Bo, that was real cool. The handshaking and the walking away to their separate fields, as well as just the little dialogue between Bo and Stanley was just always awesome, and just to watch those were just little key moments. So, yeah, I've got to say those were.
I enjoyed the scene where Sandler is hyping him up and doing all kinds of assaults while he's trying to shoot the three, and he's like, "Hey, if you miss because I said something, you gotta run the bleachers." A lot of that dialogue between the two was fun. The jokes that Sandler spit out were fun. I did enjoy the sit down dinner scene where Sandler is telling his story how he got with Teresa, and then Teresa's like, he used to be a bad man until that the hand injury, obviously. The boat challenge is also one of my fun.
They never disclosed his hand injury, do they?
I think it was a wreck.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they
it was
did.
a car wreck.
It was a car wreck.
That's right.
Yeah. Zach, what about you? You have any favorite scenes?
Yeah, that scene in particular, it's one of my favorite scenes when they're in the car and Bo asks like, "What happened to your hand? Why?" They kept saying like, "Oh, Stanley messed up again. Like, what's the story behind that?" And I think Sandler's performance is so genuine, and he messed up, and we can't reclaim that again. And he doesn't want that to happen to Bo since he's just such on a hot streak. That scene is great when he gets reunited with his daughters. So emotionally charged, it's brings a tear to your eye. And then the introduction of Bo on the street basketball scene, I thought was really well done. What about you, Craig?
I think the initial scene when he sees him at the park, it's shot beautifully. I think the angles and everything that they chose were very good angles, and it showed it showcased it perfectly, I think, for that area. The combine drills, when he's kind of going and he struggles and he goes and sits down, and I can't remember who asked Sandler, but he's like, "Can you go talk to him?" He's like, "No, he's got it. He'll be fine." And you see Bo sit down, and then he gets back up and he's like, "All right, let's do this." And it's just like at that moment you realize that Sandler's instilled that mindset in him that the only person that's going to defeat you is you, and you's kicking your ass. And so I think at that moment Bo really understands, like, it is just a mind game. It's all me versus me at this point. And it's a good scene. A lot of these scenes you can take it for what it is, but there's a deeper meaning in about 80% of these scenes in this movie. And I think that's really good when you can hide deeper meaning in the scenes that you have already placed. So,
yeah.
Real fun, guys. It's that time. Star rating 1 out of 10 for the rewatchability, because how many times I watched this twice. The dialogue, the scenes that were very well put together, like Craig just described. Go check it out. It's on Netflix. I'm giving this 8 stars out of 10. And again, if you guys haven't checked this out, if this is your first time, our star rating is 1 through 10. And we all really kind of use the rewatchability system to it. So for me, this is going to be 8 stars. Ed, what about you?
I'd agree. 8 stars. I think this is well deserving. I could do a strong 8, maybe even a weak 9 for that matter. There's forgot how to use that system, huh? But no, this is a very strong film. So yeah.
Craig, Penny, for your thoughts?
For now, I'm going to go with an 8. I want to be able to rewatch it again, just to see how that rewatchability is, see if there's anything that I missed where it's like, okay, this kind of gets repetitive or whatnot. But first time watch, I would highly recommend it. You're not going to be disappointed. So an 8 may be low for the first time, but I think overall as a film, for its longevity, I think an 8's going to be solid for it.
Zach, sir, the floor is yours. Your star rating?
Wow, that's shocking. I thought I was going to be the lowest of the four of us. I'm going to give it a 9. I mean, I truly, really, really enjoyed this. I think it's honestly one of the best movies of the year so far. So,
Wow. And you guys thought that this was going to be a joke when I said, "Hey, let's do Hustle."
yeah.
No, I just had no idea what it was.
Neither did I.
So,
Interesting. This is good episode. We did go over a little bit, but I want to say it was a fun episode. Let's get ready to get into the final segment of the day, and that's the email bag. It's the one thing that stands out. It's fun. You guys can be interacting, and send us an email, CINEMEN921@gmail.com.
hey, you know what we could do real quick?
What's up?
Do some old Brady Bunch real quick, where it's like mail time, mail time, mail time. Do some showbiz. Show me your spirit fingers, Johnny.
Show me your what?
Your spirit fingers.
Oh, ain't that kind of podcast?
Yeah.
Zach, your turn, bro. Come on now. There you go.
Like some
you got like Jason fingers. You
Mail time. There you go.
William says Jurassic World wasn't as bad as Craig puts it, but it was still kind of rough. 6 stars.
Ooh.
Omar says Hustle was dope. I enjoy seeing Adam Sandler in more serious roles. The dude is actually a really good actor. 7 stars. Gabriel says my top 5 theater snacks would be number 5, Milk Duds. Number 4, hot dog. Number 3, a Slurpee. Number 2, pretzel with cheese. And number 1, the pickle.
Oh,
just a pickle.
Kind of slapped us out of nowhere there with that pickle. Kenny says my top 5 Netflix movies in this order: number 5, The Mitchells vs. Machines; number 4, The Ridiculous Six; number 3, Bird Box; number 2, Red Notice; and number 1, El Camino.
That is a Netflix movie.
Yep. Coco Chris says, I hated Jurassic World Dominion so much with a fucking passion. I wanted to rank my Jurassic Park films like Juan and Zach did. P.S. Went and seen it again with the girlfriend, and I still fucking hated it.
There you go.
She didn't get no D that night. Oh.
No Dominion.
No Dominion.
So his Jurassic Park films ranked: number 6 is Dominion. Number 5 is Fallen Kingdom. Number 3 is Jurassic Park 3.
What?
Number 3 is Jurassic Park Lost World. Number 2 is Jurassic World. And his favorite is Jurassic Park.
Surprise.
Surprise with that list.
Barry says, I had a huge problem with the surrounding cast of Hustle, but nonetheless, I thought it was a good story, and Adam Sandler was great. 6 stars. Jeffrey says Hustle was good, but I'm not sure I'd ever really want to watch it again. 7 stars.
You think this will get lost in the year as we go on?
Yeah. Sarah97 says I can't wait to hear Attack of the Clones. Some consider it the worst Star Wars movie of all time. What are you guys most looking forward to?
Don't do it.
What are you guys most looking forward to talking about with Star Wars Episode 2? Greg?
Give me some good old Samuel L. Jackson.
I think this, I haven't seen it in a few years, so I'm treating it, Craig, as if it's, me and you just watching it maybe for the first time. But I think I am most interested in talking about the story than I am the actual action.
Yeah, for sure.
This is one of those movies, one of those Star Wars films that people judge because it's sandwiched in between 1 and 3, and it's more of you. This is where you develop the love story between Padme and Anakin, and you start seeing his hatred slowly build.
Well,
so
and we're gonna be able to see this after Episode 6 of Obi-Wan. So we're gonna be able to kind of see how the growth of what this produced.
Right.
Not just straight to Vader. We're gonna be able to see a little bit more of it.
So I'm interested in seeing it just with an open more mindset. And again, next week, guys, 199 Spawn, we're talking the series finale of Obi-Wan, and we're gonna give the star rating of Obi-Wan Kenobi next week. Henry says my all-time favorite next Netflix
Netflix.
film
Hey,
Yes.
your miss is right behind you, Johnny. I see
is is The Irishman. So Henry's favorite Netflix film is The Irishman. Hands down, 10 stars. We're gonna let this one finish us off, and then we'll talk about next week in episode 200. We'll get out of here. Sam G69 says Hustle is a fun sports movie. I don't even like basketball, but it was definitely one of the surprises of the year. 9 stars.
Hey,
Exactly what he said.
Yep.
So yeah, that was our mailbag. Next week, guys, it's gonna be fun. Episode 199, Spawn from 1997. Next Monday.
I'm still waiting on permission from my mom. So
You need to get that permission slip signed and sent to me as soon as possible.
yeah, for sure.
We have 2 first timers next week, Zach and Craig. It's your first time with Spawn. What do you guys think? You excited?
Sure.
It's taken a lot to freaking watch this. I've not even watched it yet.
I mean,
we
Get ready for the cheese.
25 years, and I've never seen it. So
I mean, it's not very long. It's only an hour and a half, I think, and you have a fun cast of Michael J. White.
Michael J. White's in this?
Michael J. White plays Spawn.
Yeah.
Oh my
And then,
goodness! All right.
John Leguizamo plays the clown. So you have a pretty fun cast. It is one of those cheesy, dark comic book kind of movies. The CGI is probably a little awful. I think they use claymation some for some of the
I think so.
special effects and stuff. So you know what? You just have to go open. You have to go into it with an open mind and have fun. So
is my brain gonna be blown?
Yeah, and
I don't know.
A couple of scenes, if I'm not mistaken, are kind of Sin City-esque.
And then in 2 weeks, guys, 2 weeks from today, we will be live from Rodeo Cinema, episode 200, 4th of July. We're talking Independence Day and our top 5 Will Smith movies in 2 weeks. Should be pretty fun. Next week's top 5, I'm not so sure yet, but I will put it out on social media, and you guys can play along like that as well.
To be continued.
Yeah. So next week, guys, we will check everybody out. Again, you guys can follow us on the social media right there, facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is all one word, the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Twitter is at Cinemen405. And then the email is cinemen921@gmail.com. Zach, do you have anything you want to put in the final nail in the coffin before we go on to Spawn next week?
Yeah, I say highly. I think all of us highly recommend this movie. Like I said, you don't even have to be a basketball fan or even a sports fan to enjoy it. Spawn, it is what it is. So we're gonna take it one watch at a time. But I do a big thank you to Kate and Cassie for their interview. I thought it was a lot of fun and an insight on the filming process here in Oklahoma. So.
Yep.
Greg, what about you? You ready for next week?
Sure.
Spawn?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I'll probably get off here and go watch it immediately, and just so I can have some more time in case I want to watch it again. But
and
yeah,
then we immediately get a text saying no.
Yeah, I will. I'm calling in sick next week. No, again, yeah. We showed up to the film festival 2 weeks ago. Not really knowing what to expect, just kind of catching whatever we could catch, and being able to see a film like Chicken House, which like they said, it was made in 9 days, wrote in 3 days, based off of a real life experience.
Very, very worth the watch. And after talking to them today, you appreciate that movie 10 times more.
For sure.
Yeah, it's very personal to them. It's not just something that they.
It's a passion project.
Yeah,
right. And it's something to fill the time that was happening in COVID, and it was something that she had on her mind. And you have to appreciate things like that being in our position now, because it's the process that people like, Scorsese might have been a part of, or all these producers and directors that we like started somewhere. They didn't all just jump to the big league. So, seeing the process of where you started and how that process went in dealing with low budget budgets and how you dealt with making a movie with low budgets. It's all something you have to appreciate, and it's all part of the grind. Everything you do is a part of the grind. So,
All right. So Craig, Zach, you guys are good. Next week, Spawn. Ed, do you have anything else you want to add? Put your 2 cents in before we head out.
No, I kind of like what they said. Loved having the time with Cassie and Kate, for that matter. They were awesome. Get a little bit more insight, for that matter, into what they were thinking or going through with the whole process and the culmination of that project of theirs. Honestly, man, looking forward to Spawn. It's been a while since I have actually seen it, so it'll be a nice rewatch.
Been a few years for me as well.
Yeah, I was about to say at least 5 that I know of.
And streaming on Netflix right now.
There we go.
Oh, no shit.
Go
So
check
there
it
you
out.
go.
Netflix, Spawn next week. Next week, we are also talking to Kara from Rodeo Cinema. Next week continues, as did this week, of our Pardon the Pandemic docuseries that we're interviewing all local artists, local business owners. You joined us live here on Emosawa Productions on the YouTube channel. So again, thank you for watching us visually. Thank you for listening as always. And next week, we're talking to Kara. We're reviewing Spawn right here on the Cine-Men Movie